Some help from David Grissom. Of course, he's live in the Kpft studio with us today, and he'll be doing his thing at Under the Volcano tonight with the full band. David, tell folks what you're doing in California at the end of the month.
Well, I'm going to the NAMM show, which I've been doing for the last 15 years or so, which is basically the largest convention of musical-related equipment in not the world, because there's one in Frankfurt, Germany that's bigger than this one, but I think besides that one, it's huge. It's like if you've ever been at a Guitar Center, it's like about 150 guitar centers under one roof, and every little dealer or manufacturer has these booths, and they always have someone playing in it. So it's like cacophony. And they have guys that walk around with dB meters, and they issue a citation if you're playing too loud, but nobody really pays attention to it.
Right.
And so I'm going out there for Paul Reed Smith. I've done it for years, and I generally play a bunch during the day. They have their own room, so
Now, that's not like a big gig. It's just like a
no, it's not a gig.
How-to kind of thing.
They have a house. They have like a rhythm section that I play. I don't really. It's not so much about how I do what I do.
It's just showing off the guitar,
technically,
basically.
but it's more like how I get the sounds out of the guitar, what the philosophy was behind the guitar. I also help them, working with them on amplifiers now too, and that's something that their amplifiers are really, they've been slow to be accepted, but now are really catching on. So they'll have me go through the entire line of amplifiers 2 or 3 times a day.
Sure.
For a lot of dealers come in, a lot of buyers. It's not really open to the public. It's more music store owners, and all these manufacturers take a bulk of their orders at the show, so it can really be. They can feel really upbeat at the end of it, or they can feel pretty depressed. But it's fun. It's fun because I get to see people that I only get to see once a year. There's lots of incredible musicians that come. A lot of manufacturers, they'll bring out guys you'd never see play. That do a lot of studio work. That'll do performances or whatever. It's just a good hang. But I have to retreat to my hotel room a couple times a day because it's just the sensory overload of it is too much. Yeah. Sure.
And what, you stay up there for about a week, or how's that work?
Yeah, I go Wednesday and come home Sunday. It's,
Okay.
It's cool. It should be fun. And again, the whole amp thing. After having the privilege of being
Tweaking
part of
it.
this guitar,
Right.
now I've been working with an incredible amp designer, a guy named Doug Sewell, who's from Texas as well. So we bonded immediately. And he comes down to my house about every 3 months as we're working on these designs, and we have barbecue pilgrimages, and it's very relaxed and low key. But there's 2 amps that we're working on together.
Are those out yet?
They're not out yet,
Okay.
but I've been playing them for the last year to make sure that they work the way it's the same thing with the guitar. I don't want my name on anything until I know that it really is. There's no flies in the ointment, and it's really important for me too for them to perform really great on stage and then record well too, which is an issue I've had over the years. Amp can sound amazing on stage. You take it into the studio, and it's like it's really hard to record. Right. So those should be out later this year, and I feel really, really great about the way they've come out.
Very nice. Very nice. David Grissom live in the Kpft studio. You did work with Lucinda Williams when you first got to Texas in the early 80s. You've done work with Joe Ely, Dixie Chicks, Storyville, of course. 2007, your first solo album, Loud Music, came out, and we just played the cover by Webb Wilder. 2009, Way Down Deep, and that was the last time you put out a record, so I'm sure your fans are kind of wondering when the next one's coming out. I know you've been really busy doing Grammy Award-winning albums with Buddy Guy, so when's your next record coming out?
Well, I'm wondering the same thing, but I will say that I've got at least half the songs written and fleshed out. I had a really good spurt over the holidays at Christmas and wrote 3 tunes. And so then you get to this whole thing about, I still sort of have this. I did like this poll on Twitter. Now I'm on Twitter. This hell has frozen over. Where I asked, because there's so much. I subscribe to Bob Lefsett's letter. He's this blogger that is really sort of influential, and he has a lot of real cutting edge ideas about where the music business is going, and he claims that the album is totally dead. And so I tweeted, I want to know what everybody thought about that, and I got like more responses than anything I've ever posted on Facebook or anything. And except for one person, they all said, do an album. An album is like part of my life. You know, it's a soundtrack to my life. And it may have something to do with my demographic. You know, probably not a lot of 14-year-olds listening to me. But having said all that, I am going to do at least one more album. And so then I think it's really important for all the songs to sort of fit into where I am at that time in my life and have a sort of a cohesiveness.
Okay.
And even though I'm all over the map stylistically, I feel like each album sort of works in its own way, especially the last two. And I want to make this one that way. So I'll probably write 20 songs to end up with 10.
There you go.
And I'm also mulling over the idea. I've got some live stuff recorded from the Saxon, where on some really good nights we really stretch out on some of the older songs, and you get to hear the band. I'm toying with the idea of doing 5 or 6 new studio tracks and then maybe 5 live tracks, because I think it'd be great for people to really hear the band.
Yeah, you could do a double album.
Well, yeah. I mean, I could.
Just put that out there.
Yeah. Or I could just do 2
You're right.
CDs.
We'll talk more about that
Okay,
later.
all right. But I really want to get it out quickly because, I mean,
Sure.
I've got these new songs. We're playing some of them live already, and it's neat now having the band because we play these things, and they sort of develop their identity, and then you can go in and record them, whereas in the past, you write them and go in, and it's the first time the guys have ever heard them, and then they develop their identity
on the road. Yeah.
So that's the thing. This will be the first time that I'll have done a record with my band,
Very nice.
which I'm excited about.
Now tell us about Good Day for the Blues. You got Warren Hood on this. He's going to be stopping by the KPFT studios here in about a week or two.
Yeah, this version
Carolyn
I did.
Wonderland's on this record
Yeah,
too?
I
Nice.
did. I did an acoustic version of "Good Day for the Blues" on my second album, 10,000 Feet, and I wrote that song. I can remember exactly when I wrote it and where I was. I was in Fredericksburg, Texas, with my wife. We had gone for the weekend to stay in a bed and breakfast, and I woke up. The sun was just coming up, and I had an idea for the song, and I went into the bathroom, sat on the floor, and wrote the words down, and did my best. I had a melody in my head, and
Sure.
the whole drive home from Fredericksburg to Austin, I was like, please don't talk to me.
I was going to ask you, does your wife have to you have to tune her out?
We don't turn the radio on, and please don't talk to me. When I got home, I
Have the song ready.
I had the song written, and it was really I get a lot of people that love that song, and so the Storyville version is obviously really rocked out, more of a blues rock treatment of it, and that's the way I play it live with my band. But I thought it would be fun to go back and record it in a much more acoustic way, the way I sort of wrote it, and then get Warren to play fiddle on it and Carolyn to sing background vocals. And it's just one take. I played and sang at the same time. I still haven't figured out the technology where you can. I wanted to get a performance, so I couldn't go back and punch anything in. I added a couple extra acoustic guitars, but it was really nice to have Warren and Carolyn on it, and it's just quite a different take on it than the Storyville version.
Very nice. David Grissom live in the KPFT studio. You can catch him tonight at Under the Volcano, and we'll give out some tickets for that show here in a little bit. Stick around. Very nice.
Yeah, man.